focusing on what matters. Today, you'll be able to create those lines of sight of where you want to go and where that comes from, and how you can use that to create your path to achieve what you want to achieve. Use today. Reflect. I'll be asking you questions. Decide what that means for you. Reflect about your goal and how you can put that to the test during this podcast. Because deciding what those answers are throughout today will really put you in a great position for achieving your goals. Can you remember the moment that your dream, your passion, your goal, your idea popped into your head? Where were you? What were you wearing? Who was around you? What were you thinking? What did you feel? What was it that inspired you to act? Was it a person? Was it a comment? Was it a reflection on a previous situation? Something will have inspired you to decide, I want something different, and this is where I want my story to go. Think a little bit deeper. Was it a limiting belief that made you want to change your story? Was it a positive belief that really got you to focus on wanting or needing something different for yourself? Were your values aligned or in conflict? What were you feeling in that moment that you decided you now have this dream, you now have this goal? Let's go on a little journey together and rewind to the past. I always wondered, when was my very first memory? Do you remember your very first memory? I have friends that say they remember things from when they were 2 years old. The research shows that at 7, our brain is in theta, so we're unlikely to actually recall and have those memories. My son doesn't remember anything before he was 8, and I'm not sure I do either. But sometimes I think I might. But that usually comes from a photograph, a story, somebody else recalling a situation that makes me believe or really know that that was my memory. But what we're seeing here are the stories, our story, other people's stories, interconnecting together to create what we believe our reality is. But for me, that throws up the question, what is reality? What really is happening? Is it what I remember? Is it what they remember? Is it the photograph? It's really hard to know. Our perspective arises from every experience that we have had. And from that is what writes and becomes our story to ourselves from the past, and influences how we make decisions in our story going into the future. So take a moment and think about those stories and experiences from your past that are really strong in your mind of the memory and the reality that you believed to have lived. I remember the time that I told my mum that I wanted to be a pilot, and I was spinning around the room with my arms out like an aeroplane. I never became a pilot. Those experiences that got me towards that dream, to almost achieving that dream, have built the person that I am today, have given me strengths, have given me weaknesses, have given me areas that I can develop, and areas that I can use across multiple arenas so that I can succeed. I remember when I successfully summited every single peak that we did on a ski touring adventure. I also remember, unknowing to me at the time, that I self-selected out of summiting Cayambe and Cotopaxi in South America. All of those experiences have given me who I am, created beliefs, positive beliefs about myself, limiting beliefs about myself, and also I've been living my values throughout all of those experiences. They are at my core. Now, the research shows that values are likely to be set by the time that you're 7 years old. What I find interesting, even if we don't want to get on board with that piece of information, knowing our values and deciding which ones matter to us and which ones matter to us most can really support deciding what we do, how we do it, when we're aligned, and when we go into conflict and we feel uncomfortable, it's very likely that that value is being opposed. Have you noticed why your goal matters to you? What is it that makes it important? Do you know your focus of why it matters? Is it the money, the relationships, the status? Noticing why it matters to you can really help you create that picture and understanding and help you focus. And one way to do that is to get in touch with your values. Those core values that make you who you are, that influence your decisions every single day. Values that are important to me include adventure, competition, empathy, kindness, honesty, and fairness are really big values of mine and can really influence how I react or respond in a situation. And determination, competition, creativity as well. So there's some that really I find a lot of my decisions can be made on, or if I reflect and look back on some of my actions, they will be aligned to one of those values. One good way to notice what your values are is to look at when things have gone really well. What was going on? What was happening? Why did that feel so good? Or you can think about your values. Why was I in conflict? Why was I angry? Why did I go from 0 to hero in 0.3 seconds? Because one of your values had been put into conflict and it didn't sit well with you. So if you can't just reel off what your values are, take a time to notice. Notice when you have been in conflict or notice when you have felt really aligned, and that will give you information to actually what some of your core values are. If you think about the goal that you have right now, does it align with your values, or is there some friction there? Does it conflict with your goal and make it harder right from the start to be achieving that goal? You may find that some parts of your goal really sit well and align with some of your values, but there's one value that's in conflict. And then that is your choice whether you want to keep going with that goal, or is that a showstopper? Does it stop you wanting to continue with your goal, or is it a game changer where this was my goal, but I really need to consider this value of mine, and therefore I'm going to change the game. I'm going to change where the parameters are. I'm going to change what success looks like. I'm going to change the situation. I'm going to change something about what I want to achieve so that it aligns better with me and what is most important to me. What matters to me. And it doesn't matter if that answer is different to anybody else, because you know it matters to you and you matter. Your core values, there's only maybe 3 to 5. They're quite small. If you imagine an anchor in an ocean, they're your core values. And you've got a chain that leads up to the buoy on the surface of the sea. Those can be your beliefs as well. Now your values are set, they don't really shift, but that buoy can move left and right and all the way around the anchor. Those beliefs and ideas can change, but they will be attached and linked with those core values. The only time that these really change are maybe in a big traumatic event or something that really influences you in life in a big way, like in the sea, a hurricane, a big storm. That might shift your anchor slightly, but it's got to be something huge to really rip those core values away. Right at the beginning, we were talking about what is reality, and it's our perspective of our story and the experiences that we have gained to that point. And those experiences will have set beliefs in our conscious and subconscious minds about what we think is true and untrue. And those beliefs can really help us to achieve our goal, knowing that we have courage, we're able to fail, and that's okay. And we're committed, no matter what, to keep going, because we've seen and we know that when we keep going, we succeed. On the other side, some of you will have experiences where you don't feel that you have courage because you've had an experience that limits that, where you have tried, but you failed. And when you failed, the reaction or responses was huge. And it's put a fear in you and a limiting belief that you shouldn't have courage, you shouldn't try. And then commitment. Some people can be known as flaky. They just say they're going to and they change their mind. And in those situations, again, it's a limiting belief that has got in your way. It's so important, that relationship with yourself and understanding and noticing, what beliefs do I hold that really support me and help me move forward? And what are those beliefs that pull me back and stop me from ever trying or ever succeeding? Or they prevent me and I fail. Your positive beliefs will have that internal voice telling you, I know I can do this because I have the skills to do this. And you'll be able to come up with some examples of why you have those skills and what the skills are. I have proven time and time again that I am capable and I am able to do this. Before, in the past, I can recall these memories. Knowing yourself and understanding beliefs and how they can impact success is really key to knowing what you need to do to change your journey, change the route that you take a little bit longer, work on those limiting beliefs, changing them one action at a time, over time, and you will see a change in your life and the way that you want to go. When one of those limiting beliefs rises, comes to the fore and gets in your way, that is when you go back to that memory of why this goal matters to me. What was that focus right at the beginning that the point I am in my journey now, I've forgotten, and all I have is these negative bias or limiting beliefs shouting at me of why I can't. It's at this point we need to know, what was the purpose in my life that made me want to do this goal? What was that inspiration? What change did I want and I need? When we think about that, it can really support us in either having the strength to continue, having the strength to find another route, even if it's longer, even if it's more effort. Or it may even be the strength to notice what you've learned to that point, and now you want to change your mind, change your goal, and go in a different direction because new information has come towards you. And that's okay, as long as it isn't that limiting belief that you are recurring and keeps telling you that you can't. People that are successful because they have the resilience. They have the ability to ride those highs, but more importantly, ride those lows. They have the ability to break through those moments when a limiting belief is there and may just stop and put the biggest wall up for you to ever get over to achieve that goal. It's that commitment to keep going. Those values, the courage to try, the confidence to fail, commitment to keep going, is why that second week in January I decided now is the time, courage to try. Let's just try. 2 weeks later, on the 31st of January, I launched the first episode of the podcast. There was loads wrong. I had failed in lots of different areas where I should be performing and being good at to do a podcast, but that didn't matter because I had the confidence to fail and get it wrong and learn from it. Fail fast, learn fast, move forward. This is the 3rd episode and you will see a huge difference in every single one of my videos. And I hope that commitment to keep going and do 52 episodes for the entire year, all the way back to January next year, you will constantly see that growth, that learning. And some of that growth will look like failing. And that's okay because I am trying and I'm going for that goal. I don't want to look back and see that I didn't try, I didn't have a go. Because what are the risks? How are the risks so high that I'm not even gonna try? If this is helpful, please share it. Share it with somebody else that you think will benefit from this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're enjoying this episode, please subscribe, follow, like, comment. I'd love to have a conversation and start that real community of working and growing together. Send me a DM if you don't want it to be public. I will reply because I want to connect. I want to connect with you.
Now remember, my experience is my experience of life. In the jobs that I've held as a teacher, in the military, working for a top university, working globally with clients as a leadership facilitator and executive coach. This is all of my experience. I am not a trained therapist. This is just us having a chat and sharing my wisdom, and maybe it's useful for you. See you all soon.
I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.